Welcome back everybody, this is part 41 of Let's Play EarthBound. Last time we got to the Fire Spring, which is the final Your Sanctuary location in the game. Overall this is a very short dungeon, but it can be very long, made very long because of very long and annoying enemies, which will consume pretty much, I'd say about 70% of the video is actually me fighting enemies and stuff. And probably the other 30% is actually me progressing through this place, and well, 20% is actually me progressing, 10% of the video is probably some cutscene at the end of the video. But anyway, that was the soul-consuming flame, and they will try to consume your souls with fire. Isn't that just terrific, everybody? Anyway, you're going to want to head through this cave to the right, and these soul-consuming flames, all they'll do is really, they like to use PSI fire on you, and they're horribly weak to freeze, and that's pretty much enough we need to say. And interesting is, the music for fighting the soul-consuming flames are actually the Your Sanctuary boss music, or the normal boss music anyway. This is the evil elemental. He is weak to fire and he can possess you and disrupt your senses. Anyway, back to those flame things. Like, they will go down in literally probably 1 PSI fire gamma from Paula or Poo. And that's just something I just really don't understand why it's worthy of boss music. You know, those guys are a little bit tougher, but they can be a little bit annoying. If you head into the right cave, or the left cave here is a supply of, or butterfly thing, so you just walk out in and out as you feel fit when trying to get these things, and you'll have no real problem recovering your PP. As this dungeon is quite taxing with enemies, it is probably a good idea to take full advantage of this place, as you can see I'm doing here. Basically because Paula is kind of low on PP, and I want to conserve some PP for the boss, because the boss in this place is probably one of the harder bosses in the game, in my opinion. And of course, more enemies. Goody insta-kill, I don't have to bother with that thing. Yeah, those evil elementals can be quite annoying if they are fought on their own. And another instant win, isn't that fantastic? Also, you'll see some lava flowing up and down when you're in, well, not in a cave like we are now, and that was a nice level up there. But as you can see, the lava is there. Don't worry, it won't hurt you. You can't actually walk in there. It's just for show. Just feel free to enjoy it while you can. Well, Poo learned on PSI Thunder Omega there, which is a pretty nice spell thing, even though PSI Thunder is very inconsistent anyway. Also, as you can see here, Poo is, well, actually possessed by a mini ghost, and overall, I would say it's nothing to really worry about, as the enemies here like to use PSI Fire here, which does, in fact, actually attack the tiny little ghost, as you can see here. But otherwise, I wouldn't... Well, anyway, even if you do have to deal with a mini ghost possession thing, it's really just a minor nuisance, if anything. Well, especially at this stage of the game, it'll only do about 1 damage to you, or it might make one of your characters lose your turn or anything like that. As you can see there, the soul-consuming flame can be pretty powerful if you let it live, but fortunately it has pretty much paper-thin defenses, and you can really just, you know, wail on it with bazookas and that. It'll be out within a round of fight, so I honestly think that was the enemies that we got the insta-kill or insta-win on, which is always a nice thing. The annoying thing about the evil elemental is, well, unlike most enemies here, freeze does pretty much almost 0 damage, and it's just kind of weird because, you know, it's the last thing you expect, like a weakness to fire, basically because it's all red and all that. It doesn't really give you that sort of vibe about it, if you will. But then you just go and use PSI Fire, it's the most effective of the spells. As you can see, there's a present there. That is actually a very good item. So there's an item we got there previously, it was the Cherub's Band, which can prevent you from sleep, and it's probably one of the best defensive weapons in the game. As you can see here, there's the Psychic Psychos. I think that's the major one, not the minor ones. These things can actually have a 1 in 128 drop, and that is the Star Pendant, which protects you against fire, flash, freeze, and paralysis, I believe. And that is a very good item to get, but it's not, I don't know, it's not actually required or anything. So I wouldn't really worry about too much about grinding around here. Also, these guys can put up power shields. The only real attacks they'll use is PSI Fire, Alpha, or Beta. Don't think they use Gamma. I think the soul-consuming flame uses the Gamma thing anyway. But anyway, we come to this, through this end. As you can see, this is the Your Sanctuary boss up here. It's only 6 minutes in. It's not very long at all, this dungeon. It's just the enemies that make this, your life a lot difficult. Anyway, the Moonbeam gun, which pretty much takes away our need for the baddest beam, as it is a far more useful weapon. And this is the second item, other than the Cherub's Man, that you're probably going to want to get in this dungeon. The other items here aren't too really... I did miss a few items, but they aren't too important anyway, so... Oh well. Fortunately, there were no enemies here, and that was pretty good. You can get through this room rather quickly. Unfortunately for us... How is that a green swirl? Oh, I'll never know. Seriously, that thing should have been a red swirl. But that was kind of cheap. Well, Paul learned PSI Shield Omega in that fight, which is actually a very valuable spell, especially in these later parts of the game where pretty much anything and everything will be very powerful against you, and will use very powerful PSI spells. Anyway, that was kind of cheap what you saw just there, I guess. But I guess that was just really the game balancing itself out, because I kind of got a green swirl when I really shouldn't have, so I just got attacked from behind that time. Anyway, as you can see here, I did restock up on brain food lunches in between episodes. I advise you do, basically because of the number of enemies that you'll be probably encountering in this place. And it will be of much importance to keep your PP up as high as possible, especially before fighting the boss. And I don't know why that bottle of water did absolutely nothing. It should have healed at least, well, I don't know, 10 or 20 HP. Oh well, it's no matter. We still have plenty of brain food lunches at our disposal, and we have a couple of PSI caramels, but I don't think we'll be needing that anyway. So anyway, this is the final Your Sanctuary location boss, and this is, in my opinion, the hardest one of the lot, the Carbon Dog. Well, this boss actually has two phases. This is the first phase, and really this phase isn't too difficult. It's basically just a regular enemy with high attack and reasonably high defense, and is pretty weak to PSI freeze anyway. That tiny little ghost is being quite annoying. All it will really do is just a normal attack or a normal it'll just have this normal attack which will do a fair bit of damage, but otherwise it's really nothing too much to worry about. It's the second phase that it's gonna worry you more than not. Also, you might want to make sure it's of high importance that you try to refrain from using physical attacks with the Carbon Dog, because the second phase has a power shield, but we'll get to that in a second. Unfortunately, we're just solidifying the Carbon Dog, which is quite nice. Well, here we go. It gives off this rainbow of colors, and it just turns into the Diamond Dog. This is the second phase of the boss of the 8th Sanctuary location. As you can see, it just absolutely made our lives difficult. It will have a PSI Shield Beta, I believe, or not PSI Shield, just regular Shield Beta. And I used the wrong shield there. I probably should have used PSI Shield, or regular Shield instead of PSI Shield, because I don't actually think this thing does any attacks. I know it has this bite, it does this biting attack that will diamondize you, and this is kind of what makes it annoying. It also has PSI Flash Omega, which is a chance to kill you instantly as well. Oh, I used PSI Shield Epsilon, sorry. Well, not Epsilon, Sigma. I got my Greek numbers mixed up. I should be knowing Sigma. I used to do math reasonably well. As you can see, that was its PSI little Omega thing, and that could have been very dangerous. Refrain from using multi-bottle rockets when the shield is up, otherwise that will pretty much come back and bite you in the ass, and chances are Jeff will die very quickly, and Jeff is pretty instrumental in this thing. But I don't know what's cooler about this game. The fact that I'm wailing on a dog with a bat, or the fact I'm wailing on a dog with a bazooka that we fixed in the middle of the night. And also the dog turning from its carbon form to diamond. Doesn't my carbon have 3 forms? One's graphite, the other's charcoal. And it's diamond. It's graphite, charcoal, and diamond, I believe, from my chemistry learnings. I don't know, why was it called the regular Carbon Dog? I know like the restructuring of the carbon, and I guess we just wailed on the dog hard enough and it just restructured itself. And then turned into the Diamond Dog, which has very high defenses and is resistant to any single PSI fire thing. But anyway, even with its high defenses, probably PSI freeze is probably the best way to go with attacking this thing. And it finally went down. It does have a shit ton of health. I think it has like in excess of 2,500 in that phase, and like the Carbon Dog has about 700 or so. And you get a crap ton of experience from beating this dog thing, which can rearrange its molecular structure to destroy us all. Anyway, now that we've done this, you're probably wondering what the hell I'm doing here. I'm freeing up inventory space for Ness. Why? Just trust me on this one. And you're also going to want to take that sea pendant off Paula and give it to Ness. Main reason being, well, it's going to be of, well, high importance that you use the sea pendant because you'll be fighting enemies as just Ness very shortly. So just take anything of value away from whoever the hell has it. Also give Ness the Franklin badge. Just do it, okay? Just, you know, don't ask questions, sit the fuck down. Or I'll put you under that porch like we did with that carbon dog who decided to rearrange its molecular structure. Also, I'm just going to take the cups of life noodles off Ness's hands, as they won't be very useful to him at all, especially considering where we're going. You're wondering where we're going? It's to the final Your Sanctuary location, which is just a hot pool of lava. It's the best sanctuary of them all, a volcano. You know, we had a mud pool, some ran boobs, big giant steps, and smaller steps, a magnetized hill, and a... Oh no, the Lumine Halls one was probably the best one of a lot of you ask myself. Anyway, we got the Melody of the Fire Spring. And with that, we have all 8 Your Sanctuary locations, and our sound zone is complete. Now Ness has this little flashback where he is just walking up and down this little cliff thing, and it is kind of cool, I guess. We're just going into a little dreamland. If you are wondering what the hell's going on, it's basically Ness is going to unlock the powers of his mind, and then he'll be able to absolutely fuck up everything in sight very shortly. But first he must go back to the land of his childhood, which is very, very good, I suppose. And I don't remember Ness's house ever being on this cliff with a long-winded road. But oh well, I guess it's just an unfortunate fact of life. Things aren't always what that's meant to be in the land of dreams. Oh hey, look, it's King. Long time no see, dog. How are you going? Were you the carbon dog that I just kicked the arse of? And we go upstairs, and there's Tracy's room, even though I think Tracy's the youngest sister of Ness. I can't remember actually what exactly it was with the storyline. The sister of Ness nonetheless. And it's a cradle, and it's rocking. Ness, what the hell are you thinking naming him Ness? Of all the names, I mean, you could have called him Tim, Bob, Tom, Jimmy, I don't know, Sam, Tim, I think I said Tim, Jim Bob, King, I don't know, of all names. And we're going to celebrate the naming of Ness, or poly naming of Ness, with a singular waffle. Isn't that always just great? I mean, Ness is really a girl's name when you think about it. It's like Vanessa, or a shorter name for Vanessa. I've had that before. Anyway, he's pointing at something. I wonder what that is he's pointing at. And we exit our little flashback of when Ness was a little baby, and we're in this place. We'll find out what this place is next time, so I thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.